speaking things into existence is never going to work. I got to be honest with you. You can't speak things into existence. And that might be a crushing blow. You might think, who the heck is this guy to tell me that I can't speak stuff into existence? Well, I'm somebody who has made it to the professional level in their sport. I've become a published author, and I'm somebody who's also been able to build a small following on social media. Not this following here on YouTube. I don't know what the subscriber count is at right now, but I know on Instagram we're over 23,000 right now. And if you add TikTok into there, we're over 30,000. And this is growing. This is the last kind of thing that I've added to that process. And you're probably still sitting here thinking, this dude thinks he knows what he's talking about. And the only reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because speaking stuff into existence is not going to work for you alone. Speaking stuff into existence isn't actually what brings it into existence. And I want to tell you a story where I spoke something into existence, and I'm going to tell you why it actually happened, because my words were not the main reason. It might have been the start of the process, but the main reason was something completely different, and it's the exact key that is going to help you actually start to see the things that you're saying you want to see occur. The stuff that you're saying is going to happen. It's going to be the key to help you to start seeing those things actually show up in life. That sounds pretty cool. So probably want to stay and watch to the end, because I know it's something that I've struggled with in my life, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen time and time again, but then I've also seen it not happen, and I've been frustrated, and I've thought, why is this not happening? So let me tell you one of the times where it did happen, and tell you why it happened, why it worked, and kind of give you the formula for actually starting to see this stuff start to show up in your life, rather than, oh, I said it and now hopefully it works. Because if you say it like that, if you do that, then it's probably not going to show up. Actually, it's definitely not going to show up. And if it does show up, you're going to be afraid of losing it the entire time, which you might as well not have it in the first place then. So, what's the story? Let's rewind back to my 8th grade year. That was not so long ago. I'm not that old. I'm only 25. So, I guess it was over 10 years ago. It's a good amount of time. But let's rewind back. I'm playing basketball in the 8th grade, and we're going into the season. Season hasn't started yet, and we're sitting. We're sitting in the bleachers, and we're watching the high school basketball game happen. And I remember this guy. He was new to the one of our rival schools, and he's just talking about everything and talking about how good he is. And I remember saying something along the lines of like, "Hey, look, dude, relax, right? Relax. Score a point in our league first before you start talking." And he didn't like that. So he looked at me and he said, "Oh, yeah, I can tell you're trash just by looking at you." Basically saying he knows I can't play just because of how I look or whatever. I guess he just got the sense that I wasn't good at basketball based on whatever his internal feeling was. And I kind of looked at him for a second. And I remember in that moment, my whole being was like, you're going to score 50 points against this guy. Now, mind you, officially, I hadn't even scored 30 points in the game. And that was kind of the goal that I had been chasing and waiting for. A game where it said on the stat sheet 30 points. There were games I know where I had 30 points, but officially I knew I had 30 points. I hadn't had that yet. And I'm sitting here telling this guy I'm gonna score 20 more points than even that against him, just to let him know that no matter how I look, I can still put the basketball through the basket. And he's like, and then I remember this was one of the major points in this story. One of my friends was like, because the guy's like, "Oh, you're crazy. What are you talking about?" Blah, blah, blah. And one of my friends, he was sitting there. He had played with me the last couple of years. And he said, "Nah, he actually might." And I remember thinking, okay, I actually might. And that is a key realization. because so many of us say things. So many of us say things. Think about every New Year's Eve, the New Year's resolutions. That's speaking something into existence, right? You're saying it. You're saying, hey, I'm going to lose weight. Hey, I'm going to start reading more. Hey, I'm going to go make more money. Hey, I'm going to quit my job. Hey, I'm going to end that relationship. Hey. Just like I said, hey, I'm going to give you 50. I'm going to score 50 points against you. So at that point in time, I was in the same boat as every single one of those people who have made New Year's resolutions, myself included. I've made plenty of New Year's resolutions that I did not keep. So I'm not separating myself at all. Like I said, there are a lot of things that I tried to speak into existence that just didn't happen. Point blank, they didn't happen. Right? So in this case though, I'm not going to spoil you too much, but you can kind of see where this is going. My friend says, no, he just might. And at that moment, I felt safe to believe that that was going to happen. Now, what does that mean? Did I just magically appear in that game and become the type of player who scores 50 points? No. From that point on, I walked into every single game with a whole different energy. And I did score 30 points in our very first game. So I broke down that barrier. And I knew, okay, wow. It didn't even feel like I thought it would feel. It wasn't even as difficult as I thought it was to do this. I thought I had scored way less. And I go on a streak. I think I scored 30 points in 7 or 8 games in a row. And I'm like, wow, okay, so my limits are really they're just mental. Because I knew, hey, these guys, it's not just what I've been doing, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting the people around me. They're seeing what I'm doing. They're believing. And what did that belief do? It made me focus on becoming a better basketball player, on becoming the best basketball player I could be. I focused different before games. I took the extra time and went and got extra shots up. I woke up in the morning and I would get on the treadmill before school. I'm 14 years old. 13, 14 years old. I'm getting on the treadmill before school. I'm journaling. I'm walking through the hallways and I'm visualizing interviews happening. I'm visualizing being interviewed and being followed with a camera through the school. I'm starting to see myself as the type of player who does these things, who has a great season, who has performances that nobody else has really heard of happening. The type of performances that the dude that we were talking to said are crazy to even mention. So, of course, we play against this guy, last game of the season, and I score, I think it was 22 points in the first quarter. And I thought I had scored maybe 13. So this lets you know it was happening automatically. And in some, it's hard for me to go back and really remember how conscious I was. I knew he was there, but then when the game started, I forgot anything about what we had talked about. And even going into the game, there wasn't a lot of pressure on me. My main focus was, and I know, arrogant for a 14-year-old to think this, but that's the mindset that's required to be a special athlete. I'm thinking, hey, I just want to put on a show for everyone who came to watch this is my last home game here in the 8th grade. After this, I'm going into high school, so I want to make it special. And I'm just dialed in. I made 5 3-pointers, I think. And it was just one of those special games where I don't know if you're an athlete or not, but it just came together. And I remember thinking, oh man, okay, I scored pretty well. And they said, man, you already have 22 points. I said, oh, wow. But in that moment, I didn't attach to, I said I was going to score 50, so I'm on track. I wasn't even tracking. I was just thinking, hey, let me just keep having the best game I can have. And that's the important part. When you speak something, it doesn't need to be to prove a point. So that's what a lot of people do. Oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When it goes wrong, it goes wrong because you feel like you have to do it now for the bragging rights, for the status. And that's not the point of this. You saying something is you challenging yourself to become more than you are right now. In that moment when I said that, I challenged myself to become more than I was in that moment. At that point, I was a player who was a really good scorer, but not that type of scorer. And when my friend DeAndre, when he said that, he just might, it allowed me to believe that I could become that player. And it allowed me to just be free enough to be that guy and go and challenge myself even more. So when the moment came, I was just trying to be the best I could be. And I wasn't worried about, if I don't score 50 points, because I knew I'm challenging myself. If I don't score 50 points, hey, guess what? I still might end up with 30, 25. Those are still great. That's still more than a lot of people score ever in one game. So the game continues, and I remember our coach saying, hey, Watkins has 40. And this is the end of the third quarter. We're going into the fourth quarter. And he said, hey, we want to make sure that he gets to 50, and then we'll take him out of the game. And that's when I started thinking. That's when I started holding on. And the other coach actually was upset with my coach for keeping me in the game. And I let that kind of get into my head, and it got down to the points where I had 47 points and I had missed a couple of shots. And the opposing coach said, you got one more chance. You got one more chance to make this shot. And mind you, in the first quarter, it was flowing. It was just going. And I end up with making 5 threes in the first quarter. Now, the moment, 50, that's right. This is my chance to show him. And I end up missing that shot, and my coach still takes me out. There's still time left, and my coach takes me out. And I remember getting emotional, number one, because I was excited about having scored that many points, but also I was disappointed that somebody would want to stand in the way of that special moment of mine. But it taught me a valuable lesson that, hey, even when you're performing at your very best, you have to stay focused on what is actually going to help you to get there. When you get close to the thing that you said that you wanted, to the thing that you said was going to happen, focus on being you as much as you can. Because if you focus on trying to get the thing, that's when it slips away. And that's why speaking things into existence is not, it's good, but it's not everything. It's what happens after you speak it. It's what you choose to do once you have spoken that actually gets you there. So I hope that story helps you. I hope these videos are helping you. I know they're definitely helping me to just reflect on my life. And for those of you who don't know, I'm making a YouTube video every single day, just like this one. A little bit over 10 minutes. Sometimes they go almost 20 minutes, but at least 10 minutes every single day. And that's something that I spoke into existence in a way. I said, hey, for the longest, I said, hey, I want to have a better YouTube channel. I want to be more consistent on YouTube. I want to blah, 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 blah. But no action came. But then when I said, hey, I'm going to make a YouTube video every single day. I don't care what the video is. I'm going to make one. And it's going to be at least 10 minutes long. Boom. Boom. Now I'm here. And I thought I was on day 70 something. I'm over 80 days now. So I'm even losing track of that, just like I lost track of my points back in 8th grade. That, if you want that type of special performance, if you want those types of things to happen in your life, and you're trying to be confident, you're trying to speak these things, you're trying to set intentions, you're trying to do all these different things, you have to start looking at what you're doing after you open your mouth. Because the action and how you take action is actually what determines how far you make it, if you make it, and what kind of results you get. So, with that being said, I want you, as always, to remember that the best is yet to come. And I'll see you tomorrow. Or I'll see you on the next video. Yeah, speaking it into existence. Yeah. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you wherever you choose to see me next. Oh, wait. The next video will be right here. And the option to subscribe will be right here. Now, I'll see you wherever you choose to see me next.